The video opens with a direct challenge to a narrative that has been spreading across online precious metals commentary. A dramatic claim has circulated that the United States Mint has imposed an extreme and unprecedented price increase on its silver products, and that this move signals a deeper truth about the future of the silver market. The speaker frames this narrative not as an honest analysis, but as a constructed story built on distortion. According to the presentation, the source of this story is an AI-generated channel that presents itself through a single automated persona. The issue is not simply that the channel discusses mint pricing, but that it blends verified information with incorrect statements in a way that creates a misleading conclusion. The video characterizes this as more than a minor factual error. It is described as a lie built around selective accuracy. One element of the pricing claim is acknowledged as true, while another is identified as entirely false. Together, they form a narrative that appears coherent on the surface, yet collapses under scrutiny. The documentary positions this incident as an example of a broader problem in financial media, where automated content can circulate rapidly without responsibility for precision. In this environment, incorrect details are amplified, and viewers are left to navigate claims that sound authoritative but are not grounded in how the system actually functions. From the outset, the central objective is clear: to separate verifiable fact from manufactured interpretation, and to explain what the U.S. Mint's price changes do and do not represent. The video then focuses on the specific assertion that triggered the controversy. The AI channel claimed that the United States Mint had repriced the uncirculated Bullion American Silver Eagle to $169, while also repricing the proof American Silver Eagle to $173. Within this claim, the speaker identifies a critical distinction. The price of $173 for the proof American Silver Eagle is confirmed as accurate. This portion of the statement reflects an actual adjustment made by the Mint. The problem arises with the parallel claim regarding the uncirculated Bullion version. The video states unequivocally that this is incorrect. The repricing of the Bullion American Silver Eagle to $169 is described as a complete fabrication. By placing these two figures side by side, the AI channel is said to have created the appearance of consistency. However, this structure relies on the audience not recognizing the fundamental differences between these products and the way they are sold. The documentary emphasizes that this is not a minor technicality. The false figure alters the entire interpretation of the Mint's actions and leads to conclusions that are not supported by how its pricing system operates. After establishing the inaccurate claim, the video broadens the focus to the method by which this misinformation is produced and circulated. The AI channel is described as an automated entity that assembles content without accountability for the consequences of its errors. The speaker argues that this format allows factual statements and false assertions to be combined in a single narrative, creating a message that appears credible while containing critical distortions. Because one part of the claim is true, the entire statement can seem trustworthy, even when a central element is not. This blending of accuracy and fabrication is presented as particularly dangerous in financial topics, where audiences often rely on secondary sources to interpret institutional decisions. When the source is not constrained by responsibility, mistakes are not corrected, and the same inaccuracies can be repeated across multiple iterations of content. The video frames this as a structural problem rather than an isolated incident. Automated commentary in this depiction lacks the mechanisms of verification and correction that traditionally limit the spread of erroneous information. As a result, viewers are exposed to narratives that carry the tone of authority, but not the discipline of factual precision. The documentary then addresses another claim made by the AI channel, that the coins in question were not available for sale. This statement is presented as further evidence of the gap between the automated narrative and actual market conditions. According to the video, this assertion was quickly invalidated. Shortly after the AI-generated content was published, the products became available through the United States Mint. At that point, silver-proof eagles were being offered at $173 and uncirculated eagles at $169. The timing is emphasized to illustrate how static, automated claims can fail to reflect real-time developments. What is presented as definitive information becomes outdated almost immediately. The speaker uses this example to highlight the risk of treating such content as authoritative. Availability, like pricing, is subject to operational schedules and release cycles that automated systems may not accurately track. This reinforces the broader argument that confidence in institutional data requires more than repetition. It requires an understanding of how the Mint functions and how its products are distributed. At the center of the controversy, the video identifies a fundamental misunderstanding about the role of the United States Mint itself. The AI channel's narrative assumes that the Mint operates as a direct seller of bullion products to the general public. The speaker states that this assumption is incorrect. The United States Mint does not sell bullion products directly to retail buyers. Its bullion program functions through a separate distribution structure, and pricing in that segment is not set in the same way as collector products. This distinction is presented as essential to interpreting any discussion of price hikes. When the Mint adjusts the prices of items it sells directly, those adjustments do not apply to the bullion market in the way the AI channel implies. By failing to recognize this structure, the automated narrative conflates two different categories of products and attributes the same pricing logic to both. The documentary emphasizes that this error is not technical, but conceptual. Without understanding who the Mint sells to and under what framework, claims about bullion repricing become inherently misleading. The video then clarifies the distinction between the two types of coins that are at the center of the discussion. A bullion silver eagle and a collector uncirculated silver eagle are not the same product, even though they share a similar design and metal content. The collector uncirculated version carries a specific mint mark, identified as a W, indicating production at the West Point facility. This version is manufactured and marketed as a numismatic item rather than as bullion. Because of this classification, it is always sold at a premium. Its price reflects factors beyond the intrinsic value of the silver it contains, including production standards and its status as a collectible. The bullion version, by contrast, is intended for the investment market and is not sold directly by the Mint to individual buyers. Its pricing is linked to market mechanisms rather than to a fixed retail structure. The video stresses that confusing these two products leads directly to false conclusions about how and why prices change. Having established this distinction, the documentary returns to the central claim being challenged. The speaker emphasizes that there has been no change to bullion silver eagles. Their prices are not set by the United States Mint in the manner suggested by the AI channel. Instead, they continue to be determined by the market. This point is presented as decisive. Any assertion that the Mint has unilaterally repriced bullion products is therefore described as incorrect. By reinforcing this, the video seeks to dismantle the implication that the Mint possesses special knowledge about future silver prices that it is embedding into bullion pricing. The documentary maintains that no such signal exists within the current pricing structure of bullion silver eagles. The video then addresses the reasons given for the Mint's price increases on the products it does sell directly. These adjustments are attributed to practical and financial considerations rather than to market forecasting. The speaker identifies inflation, production costs, and profit requirements as the primary drivers behind the new pricing levels. In this explanation, the Mint is portrayed as responding to its internal cost structure rather than expressing a view on the future direction of silver. The documentary explicitly rejects the idea that these price hikes reflect privileged insight into coming price movements. They are framed instead as administrative decisions within a manufacturing and retail operation. This perspective reframes the increases as operational rather than predictive, and as reflective of broader economic pressures rather than of any hidden signal about the metals market. The speaker further notes that these pricing changes are not confined to silver collector products alone. The documentary points out that clad products have also been affected by similar adjustments. This is presented as additional evidence that the increases are systemic within the Mint's retail structure, rather than targeted specifically at precious metal items. In contrast, gold products are described as operating under a different pricing matrix. According to the video, these have not experienced the same changes. This differentiation reinforces the argument that the Mint's actions are shaped by product categories and cost frameworks, not by a uniform view on metal prices. The documentary closes with the speaker's assessment of the situation. While rejecting the narrative constructed by the AI channel, the video does not defend the price hikes themselves. They are described as excessive, and the term insane is used to convey the perceived scale of the increases from the perspective of buyers. The conclusion includes an expression of hope that the current pricing will be reconsidered by the leadership of the United States Mint, specifically referencing Director Hollis. In this final framing, the issue is not hidden manipulation, but transparency and proportionality. The video argues that accurate information is essential for understanding institutional decisions, and that misleading narratives, whether automated or otherwise, distort that understanding. The documentary therefore ends by reaffirming the importance of separating fact from fabrication in financial discourse, and by emphasizing that the truth about the Mint's pricing lies in structure and process, not in conspiracy.